Hello guys, welcome to my channel. If you are new to this channel, you know what to do. Click the subscribe button, and if you are an existing subscriber, thank you for coming back. Today you might not see my face, but you can see my kitchen. Alright, so today what I want to do is I want to show you how I make Ogbono soup. Actually, it might not be the typical way of making it because probably some of my ingredients might be different from some other people, but I think that cooking depends on you. And as a married bachelor, I used to call myself a married bachelor. So as a married bachelor, I used to try a lot of recipe. This might not be the conventional way of cooking, but as a man, I love cooking. It's one of my hobbies, and I want you to comment below as a woman. Do you prefer that your husband know how to cook or not? There are some kind of controversial belief about that because some women might feel insecure in their own cooking if their husband knows how to cook. So I want to hear your own opinion about that. What do you think? Alright, so I'm going to show you straight up the ingredients that I am going to be using. So firstly, palm oil is a very essential ingredient you must have in the kitchen when you want to cook soup. So the next thing I'm going to be showing you is our Ogbono powder. I use my grinder to grind this because it was in a solid way. So we are going to be using Ogbono powder. Yeah, so I'm going to be showing you that I have already made my Ogbono flakes. I added my palm oil and mixed the Ogbono powder, and I get my Ogbono paste. Right? So I'm going to put it down, and for my ingredients, I'm going to be using this fish. The funniest thing is that I don't know the name, but it is a smoked fish and I've cleaned it, so I'm going to be using this. I'm also going to be using this. It is what we call panla in Yoruba. Now I'm also going to be using gizzard. I have boiled the gizzard with a lot of onions because I like onions a lot. So I'm not going to be putting my chicken inside my Ogbono soup, but I'm going to be frying stew. So I want to, you know, move a chicken. What I mean is that I wanted to cook a fried stew, and I'm going to put this chicken inside and, you know, mix it together. It's always very nice. You know, Yoruba people, we like pepper, chili very well. So I have to do that. So this is my pepper mix that I've grinded. Also, I'm going to be using this Maggi. It is called Niger Pot. My wife bought this for me when she was coming from Nigeria. And also, I'm going to be using chicken broth, or milk, what you call stock. So yeah, it is very important. Also, and yeah, I'm also going to be using grinded crayfish. Also, for the vegetable, I'm going to be using this vegetable. Here in Europe, it is very difficult for you to get our conventional vegetable that we use in Nigeria. But then, I just discovered this few weeks ago. This is not spinach. They usually use it for salad. So, but I see the consistency in my mouth, and I see that it is kind of crunchy and very edible, more tougher than spinach. So I like something like that. So it's like in my mouth it tastes, or it's, you know, it is more tougher in my mouth than if I use spinach. So that is why I prefer this. Alright, so those are the ingredients that I'm going to be using. Now let's get started. First thing I'm going to be putting in my pot is going to be chicken broth. So the volume of water or maybe chicken broth that you are going to add to your ogbono. It depends on the quantity of the ogbono that you want to cook. So because my own is a little bit much, so I have to put as much as this chicken broth for my ogbono. So immediately I'm going to be adding my pepper mix. See, I'm going to be using this spoon because I have to be stirring this as I'm cooking. So this is kind of like hand, you know, it's going to work better than the normal spoon. So I have to put my pepper mix now so that I can allow it to cook together. It depends on how hot you want it to be, so that is enough for me. Remember, I'm going to be using the rest of the pepper mix to do fried stew for my chicken, because I also have to prepare my food for work also. Because what I used to do is that I used to prepare 1 week food ahead, because I don't used to have time during the week to cook. So we will allow that to boil for some minutes. So next that I'm going to be putting now is grinded crayfish. So usually I don't used to measure my ingredients. I just use my instinct to judge the volume of ingredient that I have to put in my cooking. So right now I'm also going to be putting my Maggi, Niger pot Maggi. I'm only going to be using 2 cubes just because I was using chicken broth. The chicken broth already had some Maggi inside, so I don't want too much Maggi in my stew. So then there is salt inside also, so I have to be careful. So for now I'm not going to put salt because I have to mix every other thing first before I decide to put salt, so that I won't put too much salt inside. Yeah, after about 10 minutes of cooking the chicken broth mixed with the blended pepper, it is now time for me to add my ogbono paste inside so that it can start cooking together. So you just have to scoop it little by little and put it inside, and later we have to stir it together until it mixes perfectly well with our chicken broth and mixed pepper. It's not good to waste, so I'm trying to scoop it as much as I could. Alright, so I think that's all. So I'm going to be using my spoon to remove the sticky ones. Alright, so I have to stir this until it dissolved perfectly with the chicken broth and the mixed pepper. So I have to do it like little by little because I don't want, you see what I'm trying to avoid, so that the whole cooker will not be messed up. So I just have to keep stirring until it's dissolved completely. This is the reason why I'm using this spoon, because it looks like you are using your fingers to break all those ogbono paste into smaller pieces, so it will be much more easier to mix it thoroughly. So guys, as you can see, everything is already perfectly mixed together. Now guys, I'm going to be adding all my fishes and my meat. first I added the stockfish, and now I'm going to be adding the smoked fish as well. One thing about this smoked fish is that usually it dissolves inside the soup, so it's usually dissolved. So even if you cut it very big, it's going to be dissolved in the soup. My cooked spinach. I don't like to cook my meat inside my soup because I might want to eat something else like rice and some other stuff. So you know, I can't take meat from inside Ogbono soup, so that is why I usually don't put my main meat inside my Ogbono soup. So I'm going to be frying the stew, and I'm going to do I'm going to put all my meat inside the stew, and with that I can use it to heat any other thing I want to eat. So yeah, I will leave that to cook for a few minutes, and then I'm going to be adding my vegetables. That will be the last ingredient I'm going to be adding. But let me taste this and see. You see guys, like what I said I don't want to put salt until after I mix everything. So now I see that the salt is almost okay. Almost okay. Because naturally I don't like too much salt. And even too much salt is not really good for men. So because they said it causes hypertension. So I'm usually very careful. So I really don't like too much salt. So yeah. Now I'm going to allow this to cook for a few minutes. Then I'm going to be adding the last ingredient. I've added the last ingredient, which is the vegetables that I used. Like I told you, as at this point I don't know the name of the vegetable, but in this part of the world this vegetable is used as salad vegetable. So I like the chewy and the toughness of the vegetable more than spinach, so that is why I chose to use this. So yeah, all right. So guys, now that I've mixed all the ingredients, I want to make the swallow that I'm going to be using with this Ogbono soup. For my swallow, I'm going to be using this. It is, granulated corn, and in this place they use it like a porridge, but we know how to manipulate this into our own swallow. So I just discovered this in the supermarket recently, and I think that it's very good. So it is grinded corn, and I'm going to be using it for my swallow. So it tastes just like yellow gari, and the way it used to look is like yellow gari. I don't actually like eba, so I prefer this to eba. What I do is I pour it in a lot of water, because this thing used to rice. It's just like your regular semo, so it used to rice. So I will pour it in a lot of water, and I will use my whisker first. And when it is thickened up, then I can use my what we call stirrer. We call it orogu in my language. This stirrer. So this thing can burn easily, so I'm usually just stirring it with my whisker, or let me say I'm whisking it so that it's going to spread, and the consistency is going to be very. So after whisking it, so I'm going to cover it up for it to cook, because you need to allow it to cook very well. So guys, you can see that it's thickening up already. So I have to stir it so that it's not going to get burnt. You are going to do this until it is as thickened as you want. So guys, you see now that's thickened. So you have to add water based on how thick you want it to be. So make sure you don't add too much water into it. Alright, so my swallow is ready. So guys, this is my swallow. You see how it looks, just like yellow gari. You see what I'm saying? Okay guys, so if I want to fry my stew, I usually prefer to use vegetable oil because it's more better, I think, when you are frying than palm oil. And then please, there will be a little bit of noise because I have to open the vent of the kitchen, because you know, in the new year, 1st of January, around 12 o'clock, I blew the smoke detector alarm, and which made me to pay 24 euros as a fine. I was cooking in the kitchen and I forgot to open the vent, and the smoke went to where the smoke detector is, and voila, noise everywhere. So that was how I paid 24 euros fine. Imagine. And you know what, the thing was so painful to me that, so this month again, when they were sending me the bill to my house, they charged me again another 24 euros. So out of anger, I wrote my landlord like, hey, what is going on? How many times am I going to pay 24 euros? And she replied, hey, I'm very sorry. And he removed it and gave me my normal bill and house rent. I mean, it was so painful, and you still want to charge me 2 times again for the same thing. So guys, I've already served my food because the thing is already making me hungry. So I have to eat it without waiting for the stew. So I will eat my chicken like that. I did not fry the chicken, I only grilled the chicken. So I'm going to be eating grilled chicken with my Ogbono soup and my swallow. So thank you so much for watching, and see you next time. Bye.